Welcome to the ninth session of Unit 4. This is basic thermodynamics in metallurgy of welded joints. So, let us see the formation of steam in this class. How the steam is formed. So, how to form the steam? Basically, when you start heating the water get heated up and it forms a vapor. So, those steams is known as wet steam. On further heating of wet steam, it reaches 100 degree, where water vapor is completely completed, converted into dry, evaporated. So those type of steams is known as dry steam. So steam is a vapor of a water which is invisible when pure and dry. It is used as a working substance or a fuel for operation of steam engine or a steam turbine. Steam does not obey the laws of perfect gas equation until it is perfectly dry. Means wet steam does not obey the perfect laws equation, whereas a dry steam obeys a perfect gas equation. How to form the steam? So take out one piston filled with a water at 0 degree. When you heat it, it forms a wet steam, partially dry and partially wet. That type of steam is known as wet steam. On further heating of this partially dried and wet steam, it will completely convert into a wet steam. Those steams are known as wet steam, that is denoted by Vg. The volume of dry steam is denoted by Vg, that is saturation steam. On further heating of this saturated steam or a dry steam, you will get a superheated steam, that is known as V sup. So Vf is volume of wet steam, Vg means volume of dry steam, V sup means volume of superheated steam. So let us see some of the terms. Saturation temperature, that is a dry 100% dry steam, means it occurs at 100 degree where the liquid state is completely converted into a gas state. So it occurs at 100 degree. So here you won't find any moisture content in a steam. So next is wet steam. So wet steam means it will contain partially moisture, 50% of moisture or 30% of moisture, remaining will be a dry steam. Even 1% of moisture will have an impact, so that if any steam that contains moisture, then it is known as wet steam. It means that evaporation of water is not complete. What is a dry saturation steam? When the wet steam is further heated, it does not contain any suspension particles of water, then it is known as dry steam. The dry saturation steam behaves like a perfect gas. Next is superheated steam. So when the dry steam is further heated at a constant pressure and a temperature, it rises to a state of steam known as superheated steam. Since the pressure is constant, the volume of a superheated steam is increased. The apparatus used to measure superheated steam is known as superheater. So superheater is a device, apparatus that measures the inlet. So here you can see in the heat exchangers, we are going to supply the steam in, dry steam in and dry steam out. So this is all about superheated steam. It is further pure form of a dry steam is known as superheated steam. Next is dryness fraction of a steam. So what happens? It is very important for us to measure when you start formation of steam process, how much content of steam is dry and wet. So the factor that determines the wetness of a stream is a dryness fraction. It is denoted by X. So the ratio of the mass of actual dry steam to the mass of same quantity of wet steam, mass of actual dry steam to the mass of the actual quantity of wet steam, is known as the dryness fraction. What does this indicate? It indicates the amount of dryness in a steam. Suppose if the dryness fraction X is equal to 0.7, means 70% of the steam is dry, 30% is wet. Suppose it is 0.9, 9 means into 100 percentage if you convert, 90% of steam is dry, remaining 10% is wet. So next is sensible heat. Very important aspect is sensible heat. So when you start heating the water, the heat that is required to convert liquid state into gas state. So liquid state 0 degree to 100 degree, the heat that is required to convert the water from 0 degree to 100 degree is known as sensible heat, that is known as sensible heat of a water. Latent heat. Latent heat means it is a heat that is required to maintain the water maintain the steam at a dry state. Those type of heat, the amount of heat required to maintain the dry state, saturation temperature is known as a latent heat. So dear students, thanks you so much for your patience listening and stop at this stage. Thank you.